Get out my business. Nani? Okay.
Hey guys, how you doing? This is the Identity Booth, and once again, I'm talking to all you Redditors who are watching this right now. You guys are watching this right now, and you're upset that my logo isn't 28 seconds long anymore. It's been shortened, and we're gonna get into this new video. Here on the Identity Booth, me and Eric like to talk about crazy Karen corners. These are Karens who walk into the universe and do crazy shit, and we like to record it. But we had a Karen. I had a Karen that used her powers for good. But then this news story came out and I had to talk about this. And thanks to Nafi with the T, giving us a slight intro. The women's basketball team at the NCAA tournament has gone through a lot of controversy, whether it be the shady weight room they had, the poor food and staffing that they had, whatever it was. But ultimately, they as a conglomerate have to go in and play basketball. And even the refs have been super shady, as we found out at the last game that the Baylor Bears, women's Baylor Bears played. They did not end up winning, and it's partly because of a few bad calls. Now, I'm never a person to argue with a ref. I've never contested a call. I also take pride in knowing that I've never had a call or penalty ever thrown on me. I have that record. I love to brag about it. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about this lady. The Baylor Bears head coach. Her name is Kim Mulkey. I want to say Maliki, but it's Mulkey. And the reason we're talking about her today is because she's being a Karen about the game and also wearing her mask. So, without any further ado, let me get this person off of Eric's face. Let's listen to her insight. Now, keep in mind, she just lost. She's a little upset. She's a little frustrated. But let's listen to what she's primarily upset about, shall we?
You know, and I want to say this to all of you. I don't think my words will matter, but after the games today and tomorrow, there's 4 teams left, I think, on the men's side and the women's side. They need to dump the COVID testing. Wouldn't it be a shame to keep COVID testing and then you got kids that end up having test positive or something and they don't get to play in the Final Four? So you need to just forget the COVID test and let the 4 teams that are playing in each Final Four go battle it out.
Our next question comes from Andrew Miner. Please unmute your microphone and ask your question.
All right. Okay. So there's a few things you got to know about Kim. And straight up, she's arguing with science here. And she's not in any position to do that. I know you lost. And I know you lost because a few of your players couldn't get on the court because they tested positive. And keep in mind, this is a woman who tested positive for COVID in January and missed the first version of this game. For her to basically speak out as she's exiting and as her players are able to leave safely, that the NCAA should just allow the Wolves to be Wolves. 600,000 people are dead.
Okay, now I'm going to be on the other side of the coin here, because as dumb as it came across, I can hear what she's saying. These kids worked all season through protocols only to get to this point and not be able to play. And that is more devastating to those young ladies than them popping positive for COVID.
You're equating dying from COVID to playing in a game?
For those athletes that work that hard, they feel devastated. They did not get to participate and help their team because COVID.
I'd rather be devastated than dead any day of the week. I'd live a life of devastation.
But again, that's you. Number one. Number two, you've done all of your collegiate athletics. You finished that in a world where there was no pandemic.
But I mean, okay,
it's really easy on this side after doing all 4 years, after getting drafted, after being in the league. It's really, without COVID, it's really easy to sit here and say what you would have done. But you would have been devastated if you were UAPB and you guys had gotten to a certain place in the playoffs and you were not able to be with your team or help your team due to that situation. You would still feel bad. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't have the same mindset about COVID protocols, but you would be disappointed.
I would be disappointed, but I would opt out for safety for sure.
No, it's not that these girls didn't have they didn't have an option. They followed the rules, but it doesn't change their feeling.
Yeah, but I'm saying for her, like but the way the statement comes off to me isn't even about the girl. It's just like, yo, I don't understand why you felt the need to say this. Like, there's
because they're her players, but they're her players, and she's sympathizing with them.
But that once again, okay, for this, at least in the health crisis that we're in right now, where 600,000 people are dead, yo, take your L and sit down. No one asked you to come up here and speak on science.
But they asked. She got asked a question, right?
No, I don't. Let's play it back a little bit, because I don't believe she was asked the question. She kind of just said that as a closing.
Yeah, and even if it was her closing statement, that's how she felt. Yeah. And I mean, look at her face. She doesn't seem to me that she's losing in a disgraceful way. It just seems that she's saying you need to get rid of that because, hey, if these players have already been through this protocol, first of all, how in the heck did they get? If they're only with their team, how did they get COVID?
I mean,
if you've been with your team the entire
yeah, but I mean,
how did those girls get COVID and none of their opponents got COVID?
I'm pretty sure, like, there's one-offs that happen all the time, but the protocols are designed to minimize it for them. But ultimately, like, I just want a situation where, like, she is a person, and there's other videos of her and other things that make her really sus to me. She's a person that doesn't enjoy walking or toting the line that she's supposed to. She's had her own list of controversies, and this isn't the first. But for her to be making a suggestion about healthcare issues that have swept the nation, like, this is her denying the science.
I know that's your interpretation of what she's saying. She's saying they need to do it.
She said that they should do away with the COVID protocol. That's her denying the science.
It doesn't mean she doesn't believe in what the scientists say.
You believe?
For what I said, she is the one in the locker room dealing with the girls crying. That's her dealing with that. She's coming out and saying if this would not have been here, these ladies would have had an opportunity to play. Is it misguided? Absolutely. It's completely misguided. But again, you got to think about, she just finished the game. She's at the presser. She's literally watched her team work an entire year, sob in the back because they put in so much work, but their effort wasn't enough, on top of having other players who could have contributed to put a potential win, not having the ability to do so. I honestly just think she's sympathizing, and it comes off. It's just in poor taste, but I don't think it's egregious.
I mean, I think more so, like, and I think about the times that she was outspoken in her career, where she's had the opportunity to say some things and she didn't, and she was reprimanded for it, such as, for example, in 2017 when Baylor was going through that whole sexual allegations. A lot of sex talk on this show today, but her comments then were insensitive and didn't bear weight of a leadership role. She was reprimanded for that, but, like, it shows me that she has the capacity to just shun off non-factors or not take them as serious. I think, like, this speaks to something else, especially when you think about where they're having these finals, right? I believe the women's, where's this taking part at?
I don't know. I don't follow women's basketball.
I believe, don't quote me, I think it's in Indiana. I'm not sure.
No, Nafi said all the games were in Indiana. I didn't know if they separated the men and the women.
I I don't know. Part of me says that they're. Part of me thinks that they're in Texas. I'm not sure that they're in Texas, but regardless of where they are or what they're doing, you know, ultimately, like I just want people to understand, like regardless of how she feels, her statement carries water as a person of power. And when you say stuff like this, somebody who's off the deep end can use this to justify them going into a bagel shop and not wearing a mask because they sympathize with her, even though her sympathy and her reasons for sympathizing with the change comes from a deep-rooted issue that her immediate team faced. I just wanted to take care of what she said. People listen to people like her. People listen to her, and like, imagine a recruit or family seeing this and like, they had a loved one be lost to COVID, and now they're hearing the coach they're going to send their kid to say, maybe we shouldn't have these protocols. Like, it's just bad optics. You feel me? But I mean, that's just our opinion on it. And
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'm weird. This is something that we can't agree on, honestly, because me listening to the clip, I don't get that vibe from her at all. She does not have any aggression in her voice and her face. Her face looks actually pretty somber right now.
Yeah, because she just took an L. But that doesn't mean just because you look somber doesn't mean you can spout misinformation and things that aren't true.
But what did she say that was misinformation? She said she thinks at this point where they are with these few teams, why do we need the protocol? If I'm sectioned off with my team, why do I need to subject myself? It's literally 8 teams. Why do I need to subject myself?
Because everyone in the facility isn't inoculated, and until they are, there's no reason for us to have them not follow these protocols. Like, because the logic that I would use in this situation is, if one of her players did catch it after it's all said and done, would she be like, well, it was worth it? No, she would be devastated even more. So, like, why put yourself in such a promiscuous situation by stating something like that? But, I mean, hey, like, you're entitled to your opinion, but ultimately she's not a physician and she doesn't make healthcare policies, so she shouldn't be speaking out of turn on these ideas.
But she's not speaking out of turn. She may be ill-informed of the information, but again, the perspective is my players feel this way. And so I want to stick up for my players the way I feel is best. Don't see any negative. And into the 2017 issue, again, to me, it sounds pretty much the same. I don't know if you want to go down that road on what she said in 2017. I got no problem with it.
We talked about sex way too much on this episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not something we always talk about. So
yeah, that's true. Okay, it's good to dabble in it, but like, for the most part, like, I'm just curious to know, like, what you guys think about the situation. Give us your heads up on it. There's a few Karens I have in the log, but the good Karen that I actually wanted to use, man, I thought this place, but I was interested to see this, and I also want to borrow the algorithms for my favor, so we jumped on that. But this has been our perspective on something. This is our opinion on it. You guys tell us what you think. But for all that other stuff, Eric, where can they find us?
Right here on YouTube, right here on the YouTube. Make sure you hit that sub button, hit the notification bell, set it to all. That thumbs up, man. We got lots of people in here rocking with us. We got 9 thumbs up, man. We appreciate that. Go ahead, hit the share button. Go ahead and hit that drop down arrow. Go into the description, and then you will see a link to the Endurance 24 challenge. That is 24 miles in 24 hours. 2 teachers from TF North High School who are running to raise money to give scholarships to some graduating seniors, man. Do it for the kids. Do it for the kids. After that, man, make sure you hit the link tree. It's going to take you to all the places where you can find us. We everywhere except for MySpace. Shout out to Twisted Text. We everywhere but MySpace, just like Visa.
Slow it down and we can catch the vibe. But it's so hard to find through the daily grind. We're working overtime. And I'm sleep deprived. Shorty on my line and we fuss and fight. Seems like every night. Don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end is sight. Slow it down and we can catch the vibes.